All right. Hello everybody. Today we are back with IELTS speaking. Um, so yeah, we're going to basically finish part one today. Um, we're going to learn the last four kinds of part one, and I'm probably going to end the class right then. So yeah, we're gonna have the seventh type, which is different. Difference. So the next question here is in the form, is X different from Y? Usually it would ask from if the present is different from the past. That's what you will probably find the type of questions they would ask you for the difference. Yeah. So here are several examples of the difference type of question. First of all, is your major now different from what you had in mind? Is your favorite food now different from that in the past? Is your style of clothes now different from to 10 years ago? So as you can see, these questions have one common thing, which is that they are all mostly related to time. So yeah, you can see that all of these questions have some form of time. Maybe it's the past, maybe it's some relationship to the past or specific time. Now, the first thing you need to do with these types of questions is you always want to paraphrase the question and answer that question instantly. So the way you answer these questions is, first of all, you need to state whether X and Y are different or are the same. So for example, if X and Y are different, then you need to say that it's different. So for example, X is, for example, very completely or entirely different from Y. Or if you want to say that they're similar, you can say similar, the same, or have many things in common. That could also work as well. But yeah. So, that's the first most important part of this question. You need to show them that whether the thing has changed or not. In this case, it has. And if you want to say yes, it has changed, you need to say that. If you say no, then don't. So yeah. All right. So for example, let's see the question: is your style of clothes are now different? Are your style of clothes now different compared to 10 years ago? So the first part you need to say, yeah, my style of clothes are now completely different from what I wore 10 years ago. And then you need to you need to show the difference. All right, okay, you need to show the difference. So basically, in this question, you would say, for example, for the model answer, they described the difference between how they wore from school uniforms and basically normal clothes to more how to say, traditional clothes of women. I don't really know the best way to describe this, but yeah, so you would usually see a change. So for example, if I did have to answer, I would say, yeah, my style of clothes has completely changed compared to what I wore 10 years ago. Back then, I only wore clothes for really young children because at the time I was 3 years old, and now I wear a lot of shirts and a lot of t-shirts and really longer pants compared to when I was at 3 years old back then. And I believe that it has definitely shaped a part of my life as I feel really comfortable in them, and I really like and enjoy wearing these clothes. So yeah, that could be a model answer for this question. Um, that's what I would answer though, but it depends on you too. But yeah, um, so yeah, basically this way to answer it is to show the difference, is to tell them the difference, and you need to tell why you want to make why that you decided to do or why it is different. So for example, for this question, I would explain why I wore longer shirts, longer pants than I was when I was 3 years old. So yeah, that would be a sample. That would be a sample answer I would give, and that would be the way to answer a different kind of question. Would anybody like to answer this question for me first. Anyone? Anyone would like to answer this question? Would anybody like to answer this question, please?
What
Anyone?
question was that?
Yes?
What question was that?
Is your style of clothes now different compared to 10 years ago?
Um,
That, yeah.
okay, so 10 years ago, I was quite young. So mostly my mom and my parents would dress me, and my clothes would be like more colorful and it would be more suited to like uh 2-year-olds. Like the fabric would be much more soft. But right now, I can dress myself properly, so I'm also a student. That's why most of the year I wear a school uniform. While other than that, when I'm at home, I usually wear casual clothes like shirts or jeans that I pick up myself.
All right. Yeah, that's a decent answer. The only thing I would like to add is you should tell the examiner as to why you changed your clothing. You did say you changed your clothing as a student because, well, you're a student, you need to wear a uniform, but you didn't really specify much as to why you would wear casual clothes. But yeah, that's a really great answer. Um, yeah. Would anybody else like to answer this? Is your style of clothes now different compared to 10 years ago? Or uh, yeah, would anyone like to answer that question, or would you like to answer some other questions? Anyone? All right. Since I don't really see anybody wanting to answer, let's see if anybody wants to answer these questions. Would anybody like to answer one of these questions? Any of them? Anyone? Everybody will
Um,
like. Yeah.
can I answer the second question?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so how like in the past I used to read books like a children's book or comics with like really a lot of illustrations and a little like and a few words because I couldn't read that good, but like right now I'm more focused on genres that I really like for example um I don't know, juvenile fiction or horror stories. And I favor that much more than what I read in the past because I guess preferences change as we grow up.
All right. Yeah, that's a really really decent answer. Thank you so much. Uh, Yeah. So you did specify what you read as a child, and you also specified what you read as you grew up, and you also specified the difference. No, like you specified why you changed, which is personal preference, which yeah is completely reasonable. Um. So yeah. Anyways, let's go to the next type of question. Both of the next question is how has X changed? Now, this and difference are two really close ways, close questions. However, they are a little bit different, of course, because they're all the different question. Because they're different questions. But yeah, usually they would ask how something has changed. So, for example, how has something changed in this recent decade, recently, or in recent years? Usually, you would see probably recent years and recently. Decade is a bit rarer, but I've seen it happen. So, for example, how has your hometown changed recently, or how has your style? Has your yeah? As you can see, some of these questions can repeat with the other form of questions. So meaning that this form of questions that we are doing right now could also repeat the questions that we had just a few moments ago. So yeah, these questions are really similar. So don't expect. So do expect to see repeat questions. Just don't expect like a lot of repeats. Do expect repeats though. yeah. Anyways, so the way you need to give out the question is, first of all, you need to, of course, as normal, every time, repeat the question and, repeat the question and say it in your own phrasing. So you need to paraphrase the question. Now, how would you paraphrase the question in this case? Well, it's really simple. You can either say that X has changed or X has not changed, as like the first, and you would say, oh, X has changed. For example, X has changed a lot in recent years. Or you could say that no, X hasn't changed a lot. You could basically we have a lot of good words that you could use. For example, experience, gone through, seen, etc. And significant changes is also a really good one. I would use that. So yeah, now, unlike the last one where you only give why, what's different and why it's different, you also need to start. You need to compare both sides. So, for example, if you had how has your style of clothes changed for the past 10 years, you would compare your old and new clothes. You would say what's different. Or, for example, if you say how has your hometown changed recently, you need to compare. You can compare 10 years ago, do we still have what something that you really liked but now you don't, or maybe something that you really liked that you didn't have 10 years ago, or maybe something, I don't know, it depends on you. Again, this is speaking as a very very wide part of IELTS. You could basically say anything that matches in part one, that just basically resembles something that you feel, and you'll probably get a decent score in it. As long as you know how to say the right words, part one will be a breeze. Alright. So yeah. Yeah. You want to say, you want to have some words to say the past, such as since I was since I was a little girl or boy or whatever, depends on your gender. Yeah, or something used to be not so long ago. Not so long ago is only used when the time is actually short. So, for example, for you guys, I would say around like 10, like 5 years, I would say not so long ago, but 10 years is like almost your entire lifetime. So I wouldn't call not so long ago 10 years ago. But yeah, that's something you want to be aware of. Alright, so uh, now you need to compare this time. You need to say, oh, you would have many different sentence structures that you could make here. Just for example, now X is something than before. So you can say what is different. So for example, if I said now my hometown is more developed than before, that is a very valid sentence structure. That should be something you should be saying in this type of question. So yeah, and you could also say because or as of now, something is more what than before. So as of because of industrialization, now my hometown is more developed than before, and you could use now X is more than before. So yeah, basically you have a lot of different ways to say things. It's just how you want to say that matters. So yeah, it really depends on what you do, but as long as you know what you want to say, which is to identify the differences and compare the differences, that's good. It doesn't have to be exactly correct because again, you only have like a few seconds to think of an answer, so you don't really need to remember exactly these sentence structures, but it would be better. So, so as you can see, we have some adjectives and then we have the comparative versions. Comparatives are basically, well, words that you would use to compare. So, good would be better, better would be best, etc. Usually, comparatives, you want to compare things. That's the point of the word comparative, anyways, because compare is to, yeah. But yeah, for words that are very long, usually you would want to add a more in front of it. You Yeah. You would usually want to add more, the word more in front of it. But yeah, for shorter words, just add an er for comparatives. And there are some special cases like best and worst, which are completely different. But yeah, comparatives, you use them to compare two things, maybe three. But three is when you use best, etc. But usually you would use more or the er ending for that. All right. So, as you can see, we also have I also have some we also have some we also have the other way to answer it, which is X has not experienced any change in recent years. Now, there are two ways you could answer this question. First of all, you can say that you're too occupied. You could say that you're too busy. You're too overwhelmed, or you're snowed under something. Now, these no, I guess, but like, um, yeah. So basically, these are the ones where you say that, oh, you're too busy with your work, or you're too busy with studying, so you don't really care. Or you say that you're too poor, and you do not have enough money to really give any meaning or any idea towards things. So, for example, why would you care about your hometown if you don't have any money, right? And you need to work for some money. So, yeah. You would also use, I would say I use some sort of cash or I'm strapped for cash. You guys should not be answering the no money option because you guys are most likely under your parents. So you would say you're overwhelmed or you're too occupied with something. So yeah, that's the best option. Now, for example, for example, how has your hometown changed recently? Um, Here's what I would answer. Um, my hometown hasn't changed much recently. My hometown hasn't changed much recently. I was pretty small when I was pretty small, and even though when I grew up, I never saw any changes that would make me figure out much. The only massive change I'll see are businesses becoming more modernized and more leaning towards social media. But however, I do not really have much idea because I never really had any caring towards a change of my hometown because I was more focused on my studies and that the more important changes were when I was small. So yeah, that's gonna be the way I answered this question. As you can see, I answered no, it hasn't changed much to me because I haven't really figured out my life yet. I was too small to see stuff. So yeah, that would be a way you would answer this question. Say that that would be probably a decent answer to most of the questions for these. Say that you're too small or you don't really care much. But yeah, see, as you can see, there is also this answer. If you did say yes, remember to compare. Remember to compare. Uh, Say you can say, oh, they went from like small islands. No, they went from like small houses to apartments, or they went from let's say economy, for example. Maybe people spent less back then, but now due to the rise of consumerism, people spent more. Those are some examples of what you could do. Yeah, for this type of question. Now, would anybody like to answer this question? Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you want to think of things to answer, the best way is to just think of what has changed. There's nothing really much you can answer this, but like the best way you need to ask how, because most of these questions will be how, anyways. So yeah, how has this place changed, for example? Now, let's now continue. Um, all right. Now you would also like to add some small reasons for here, for example, like because of rapid development, being that's why we have more high-rise buildings, for example. Or you could say that as the roads, or you should basically just find the reason and try to revolve around that reason. That's basically it. Hope that simple like tip to answer helps. I think. But yeah. All right. Let's continue. Um. So this is a sample answer. I've already given my sample answer. So this is my time to ask. Does anyone want to answer this question? Sorry. But yeah, does anybody like to answer this question? Would anybody like to answer this question for me, please? The question that how has your hometown changed recently? Anyone? Would anybody like to answer this question, please? Anyone? Would anybody like to answer this question, please? Yes, Helen?
Yes, so I can start. So my hometown has certainly changed a lot in recent years. In the past, there were very few shopping malls or some entertainment places. The public park is quite a bit quite scarce, but now there are more green space and walking paths for the residents. As the public transport is used to quite limited and inconvenient. But now there are modern bus networks and there are some well-connected bridges and um, make some commuting much easier.
All right. Yeah, that's a really good answer. Thank you so much. Um, I would like to add a few things. First of all, plea again, a similar problem with the last few answers. Try to give more elaboration, like why are there more shopping malls now? Is there more demand for shopping malls? Something like that. Maybe more people just want to shop in general. There's a lot of reasons why. But yeah, you should try to give a little bit more ideas, more elaboration. But that's a really, really good answer. Nice. All right. So yeah. Um. Now. Now let's just answer. Has your style of clothes changed for the past 10 years? Um. Yeah. So this question is pretty much the same thing as last time, but it's just slightly different. That's all. So would anybody like to answer this question? It's pretty similar to the last one as well. Yes. You can answer. Yeah. Would you like to answer that question? All right. Yeah. Lily, would you turn on your mic? If you want to answer. Yeah.
So, my style of clothes has gone through like many significant changes over the past 5 years. So 5 years ago, like, I used to wear like comfortable clothes, like simple shirts and jeans because I didn't care much about the fashion. But I also used to let my parents pick my clothes for me. But these days, my fashion style is much more mature and stylish than before. I pay more attention to color matching and quality rather than just comfort. So, like, therefore, like, there are many more trendy items in my wardrobe now than in the past days.
Yeah. Really decent answer. You did provide what has changed slowly with your clothing. So yeah, that works. Yeah. Would anybody else like to answer? Would anyone else like to answer? I see that Mary's raising her hand. Would you like to answer?
Yes, and my style of clothes has certainly changed a lot for my past decade. And when I am 3 to 4 years old, I just like wearing dresses and beautiful pink clothes. But when I'm 7 and the first day of the age that I turned 9, I always like to, and that age my style has changed. Like I like to wear trend clothes and I like to wear simple, not anymore the clothes that had gold and diamonds.
All right. Yeah, that's a pretty decent answer. Um, you did specify your change when you were 2, and how you kind of changed your clothing when you grew up. But yeah, pretty decent answers, guys. Just please be a little bit more specific. But other than that, pretty good. Nice job. All right, let's continue. Uh, so yeah, would anybody like to answer a no question this time? Would anybody like to answer no? Let's see if we have. Yeah. Would anybody like to answer the no version? So, do you say no to any of these? If you do, then please answer. Oh, AI companion was on. Oops, my bad. Oh, so. Yeah, alright. So, anyways, would anyone like to answer this question, but for the no side? So, would anybody answer no for this? Yes? Uh, Tell me which answer, could you answer? Would you like to answer? Which question would you like to answer? Sorry. Um, alright. Does anybody want to answer no for any of these questions? Please, if you answer yes, do not raise your hand, cause yeah. But does anybody here want to answer no? Anyone? Anyone here want to answer no? Anyone? What? Anybody here want to answer no? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone here want to answer no? Uh, yeah, could you turn on your mic then, please?
Are you saying me or someone else?
Oh, um, alright. If nobody is going to answer no, I'll do another example. I also did a no for the first time. So I wouldn't mind doing it again. But yeah. Just yeah. Alright. So sorry for that. Anyways. Let's have question. Let's have question 4. Has the way you learn English changed recently? So this is gonna be my answer. No, actually, I haven't seen any experience any differences with the way I learn English. I'm already really proficient at English, I would say for myself. That's and also as I'm going to higher level English, the way that I learn usually stays the same. Yeah, I'm really, and also I'm pretty busy learning other things as well, so I don't really focus much on the fact that the way I learn English has changed a little bit. But yeah, generally I don't see much changes in the way that I've learned this language for at least the past 2 years. If that's what you would like to define as recently. So yeah, that would be something I would answer for this question. I specifically said I actually didn't change the way I learned English, and I specified why. I'm just pretty good at English, and I don't think it really changes once you like start doing higher level English. So yeah, that's really it. All right. Would anybody like to All right, let's go to. Sorry, that was. Anyone like to answer another question, one of these questions before I continue? Yes. Yes, Mary.
Is that like another no answer?
You can answer yes or no. It depends.
Okay, so I think that the way I use my phone has changed, hasn't changed quite a lot recently because ever since I started using my phone to like ever since I had my phone, my mom has restricted it and had made me use it only to listen to audiobooks or listen to music, but like not do other things. And I still use it for the same purposes now. So I believe that the way I use my phone has not really changed much recently.
All right. Yeah, pretty nice answer to this question. You specified yeah. Your usage of your phone has changed to primarily doing audiobooks. But yeah, great answer. Nice job. All right, let's go to the learn. So, in this part, you need to tell them that you do something. So, for example, that you learn to swim, that you learn to play music instrument, that you that you maybe learn how to speak a new language, for example. Something it would always be something that is a skill people would say you're okay at it. It's kind of impressive. So yeah. Um Now the first way to answer this is you say, yeah, I did do it. So for example, yes, I did learn to do this. I need to say I need to say when when you learned it. So for example, when I was at grade whatever, when I was however much years old, about how many years ago. Those are some decent approximates of time. If it's a skill that you learned from a really long time ago, you could also say it's from a really long time ago. But you're like students, so you should probably remember that. It's probably a really important part of your life. So yeah. Um. Anyways, need to say where you learned it. That's the first. Again, try to apply the whys, the W's here. Sorry, the the when, the why, the how, the what, and the where. So as you can see, we've answered already a few of this. We've already answered when. Oh no, we've answered where. Oh no, yeah, when. Sorry, when, and we've already also answered where. As you can see, and now you need to start saying where did you learn it, and then you need to learn. And then now the place that you learn, you can actually learn by who or what. See here, you can learn from somebody, a teacher or maybe a place, but you could also learn it from YouTube because now people learn so many skills from YouTube that they actually had to make that now this is a viable option to say in your IELTS speaking test. You say that you learned the skill from social media or YouTube, and you need to watch you could actually just say this for self-learning, but they said YouTube because YouTube is like the top 5 places to learn things from, to self-learn by now, because there's so many tutorials for so many things on YouTube. But yeah, you could say that you learned it from like an academy or something, some online academy. You learned it by yourself. You just learned it online. That's a valid option too. As long as you like answer as long as you answer where you learned it from, it's okay. Now, yeah, as you can see, you can also learn from classes too. Uh, you should also try to answer why as well. They would probably be pleased to hear why you learned that skill. So, for example, did you learn it because your parents tell you to learn it, or did you learn it because you really liked to do it, or did you learn because it's a part of the school curriculum? Something like that. Like, I know some people learn musical instruments because the school forces them to. So you can say that as too. You can say that too, or you said that. Oh, I really like playing an instrument. So yeah, I would play an instrument. So yeah, really, again, it's a really like open-ended question. IELTS speaking is really open-ended. So as long as you answer to your heart's content, it will always be okay. Now, some of you guys, for this question, for example, have you played a music instrument? You probably didn't do it. So maybe you didn't have learn how to play a musical instrument. So yeah, what if you don't want to play a musical instrument, or what if you didn't? You can say something like, "Unfortunately, I haven't done this yet," which is a pity. Or you could just say, "I haven't done something yet." You can also say, "Fortunately, I haven't done something yet." But yeah, there's many ways to answer this type of question, but generally, yeah, you would answer like that, and then there are many ways to answer this. Either you said that you really wanted to do it as no, not you really did try to do it as a child, not wanted. As a child, you kind of wanted to do it as a child, but like you couldn't do it because you were either bad or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, either that's option one, or option two. You said you just didn't care about it. You knew it existed, but you just didn't want to do it at all. So yeah, that's the other way you can answer. Again, you should just generally say why you didn't do it. Like, did you do it at first, or did you just not like it at first? That's basically it. So yeah. Anyways, would anybody like to answer? Did you learn how to swim when you were young? Yes or no answers are accepted. Just depends.
So yes, because I did learn to swim when I was 6. I learned it at a swimming academy by a teacher named Guang. He gave me like instructions and he told me the types of swimming. And yeah, he was quite strict. So gradually I became better at swimming thanks to him.
All right. Uh, yeah, pretty simple. A bit shorter than what I would expect, but still a generally valid answer. You did specify that you learned how to swim, where did you learn it from, where, in this case, who you learned it from, described his personality, which is a bit further from what I would answer, but yeah. Mary, yeah, sure. You can answer too.
Yeah, and I had learned swimming when I was 8, and I learned it from my teacher who named Bing, and I've learned at the swimming pool. Teacher gave me many thoughts, many structures about swimming, and he was incredibly encouraging but quite strict because he determined to teach me swim after 1 week. And when I have learned from a teacher the swimming, and I have a present from a teacher who that says to me, "Wow, you have learned to swim, and here's a present for you for your first grade of swimming." And maybe this summer I will go to that school again, and then I will swim with my teacher more.
All right. Yeah, pretty decent question answer to the question. Nice job. I would say it's a bit too long for part one. You would probably want to limit it to like a minute, lower than a minute. But yeah, you also said what you would do with swimming now. Um, yeah, Bikan, you could answer now.
Okay, so I learned how to swim when I was about 4 years old, but I just started learning then, and I was also quite young and slow at learning. So I had to go through three teachers at three different places before I found the perfect teacher who actually taught me how to swim, and that was when I was 5 years old, 1 year later. And even then, I did not know how to swim, and uh, he had to teach me through a 2 or 3 month course before I properly knew how to swim, and I was very grateful of that teacher. Even yeah, and now I can still swim even after um 7 years.
All right. Yeah, that is a pretty good answer. Really detailed. You did say how you got to swimming, even though you learned a bit slow. Yeah. Um. All right, Linda, it's your turn now. You said you were okay. Never mind. I guess we're in. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue.
Yes, I
Oh.
did.
Oh. Sorry. My bad.
Yes, I did learn to swim when I was at grade 5. Since when I was small, I have fell into water, so was very afraid of water. However, my swimming coach had taught me step by step. He is very patient but quite strict, but he always support me to become braver. And thanks to him, because now I am very good at swimming.
All right. Um. Yeah. Pretty decent answer as well. Yeah. Most of you guys did achieve what I kind of expected. Yeah, I don't really have to say much. Most of them are positive answers, though, which is something. But yeah, uh, but yeah. Would anybody like to answer negatively for this question? Would anybody like to answer negatively for like any of these questions? I feel like one of these questions will definitely be, yeah, okay, question four. You shouldn't answer question four, respectfully, because none of us know how to drive.
Um,
Alright, so yeah, would anybody like to answer one of these questions, except for question four? Anyone?
Wait, is this for a go-kart car or a normal car?
I guess you could count go-karts, but like, okay, I mean, I guess I'll count go-karts then. If that's
can
a
you do
really,
question four?
I guess, but like, sure, okay, fine.
Okay, so I've never learned how to drive a car before since I'm like 12 years old. And the maximum driving age, I think, is 16 years old. And we have to go through a lot of tests to get like our driving license. Although I would really want to learn how to drive a car in the future because I prefer traveling by car more than like compared to traveling by motorcycle.
All right. Yeah, that's a really good answer for a negative, even though we don't even drive a car. But yeah, yeah. In case you get asked that in the exam, you should probably say no. Yeah, Toby, you can answer.
So yeah, I'm currently 10, but I have learned how to drive a go-kart car at a go-kart racing experience. So actually, I had a teacher who taught me how to drive a go-kart car. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that is a pretty good answer. You did technically. I guess you're correct. A go kart is you could consider go kart as a car, but yeah, yeah. All right. Miriam, would you like to answer? All right. Since I don't see any response, I'll just continue. All right. Final one: want and hope. Now, many of these questions will revolve around you wanting or hoping to do something. So, for example, do you want to do something? Do you wish something would be different? For example, yeah. So, most of the time, wants and hope questions are related to the future. It will always be a future-related question. So, what do you want to do in the future? What do you hope to do in the future? Do you want to do something in the future? Basically, whenever you see want or hope, be expected for them to ask you about the question in the future. So yeah. This question is really easy or hard depending on the person you ask. Um, if you, so yeah. I hope you guys have like at least a tiny idea of what you want to do in the future. Cause if you have this question, which is actually kind of common, actually, I think I had this like twice. You're kind of screwed. So yeah. So yeah. The first way is you need to say I hope, I would like, to etc. So usually you would use some of these terms. Now you would say, yeah, I would like to achieve this ambition because something, and then you need to give yourself a feeling. So yeah, this is a tiny bit more complex compared to the other. So you need to give out what you want to do, and then you need to give the reason. I think this should be what you need to be thinking of. Planning your future is actually pretty. Planning your future at a young age is actually really good for you. So yeah, you should try to have a tiny idea of what you would want to do in the future, so you can answer this type of question. So for example, here, if I want to become, let's say, an astronaut, I need to say why do I want to become an astronaut? Do I want to discover planets? Do I want to become yeah, etc. So yeah, it's really dependent on your future. Yeah, then you need to give you your feeling, right? You need to give them your feeling. Oh, why do I feel like that? I want to become an astronaut because it's really rewarding, it's challenging, etc. You need to give a reason why, and you need to give a feeling as to such. Now, let's say, for example, what do you want to do when you finish university? So, I'll answer this because I actually have like a lot of plans ready. I hope I'll be able to do some research in many important health topics around the world after research after university. Because I like to follow this ambition because it's been a dream of my life when I was small, when I was young, to be a really successful scientist, especially in the realm of health, as I really care about many lives of people. And I also believe that'd be challenging enough for me to actually do research, as also helps me with my patient skills and many other important life skills. But yeah, in my opinion, it would be it would be a dream come true if I became a researcher after I graduated from university. Even though I don't know if that would be achievable because I might go to even further education. So yeah, that would be an answer I would give. But you guys can also give different answers. Would anyone like to answer what would you want to do when you finish university? This question is really this you should practice this question. It's a bit difficult, especially for you guys. I think I feel you guys because you guys are kind of young, but it's best that you know a little bit what you do, and you could also lie. Yeah, so you could also lie. You could also lie if you want to. So yeah, anybody like to answer? Yes, Toby.
So I think I would like to after university. I think I would like to become um uh like a video game designer because I think that it helps you with computing skills, which is really important in
Mhm.
the 21st century. And I also think that being able to just make games for children is just like really entertaining because you can make other people happy in some kind of way.
All right. Yeah, really nice ambition. I hope you succeed if that's actually what you're wanting to do. But yeah, really decent answer. You did give your future profession. You specified why you want to pursue this future profession. Yeah. Anyways, uh, we can yeah, you can answer now.
I think after university, I would like to take a gap year before doing anything serious to actually know myself and what I want to be in the future. Uh, to just like have a sense of what I would like to do as a I would like to do as a like profession. Okay. So like after that, I think I would like to be a lawyer since that has been my dream job since I was young because I really like arguing with other people and I also really like debating. So that's what I think I would do for the short term after university.
All right. Yeah, pretty good answer. Yeah. That is, you did give your future profession, and you also mentioned a gap year, which is, yeah, that's a pretty good addition as well. There isn't really much I could comment on, because you did basically answer the entire question in the three steps that I wanted. So yeah, yeah, Mary, it's your turn now. Would you like to answer, or yeah? Alright, if yeah, alright, I don't really see much. Alright, anyways. So yeah, that is really it for, this type of question. Um, you don't really, you only need to do that. Okay, yes, Mary, do you want to answer what would you have to do when you finish university?
When I finish my university, I will like to become a doctor or a scientist. Actually, I didn't decide it much. And I like to become a scientist because I love plants and I like science. And I like to become a doctor because a doctor can help other people, and a doctor can a doctor can have many money if they help save other people's lives.
All right. Yeah, you did give when you were doing the future. You did give why you would become a doctor in the future, and you kind of did the emotions part, but not that much. But yeah, that's a pretty decent answer. So yeah, um, all right. Yeah, I think that's pretty it for today. These questions, I think we're all tired now. I definitely am. But yeah, uh, hope you guys have a good day and see you in next class, which should be tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but yeah. See you guys. I hope you had a really good class. And we'll be learning part two too. Yeah, we'll be learning
And
part two tomorrow. If we have class tomorrow, that is. Yeah. Bye.
bye.